So this is the last lesson, inshallah, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. So we've seen that Yusuf alayhi salam has come from the prison. He's been taken out with his head high. He's been brought in front of the king, and the king has chosen to keep Yusuf alayhi salam exclusively for himself. And at this point, after the king has already given Yusuf alayhi salam a high station, Yusuf alayhi salam, he tells him, place me in charge of the storehouses of the country. Why? Because what was the interpretation of the dream? There's going to be 7 years of prosperity, a lot of food, a lot of sustenance. But there's going to be 7 years, there's going to be a lack thereof. So he's saying, I know how to balance everything out. I'm going to be able to make sure that we can get what we need for these 7 years, but still store, so that we can actually do what? We can keep a supply for the 7 years of drought and the 7 years of a lack of provision. He done it so well that he didn't just have enough for the people of Egypt to survive during those 7 years. He had a surplus for even the countries and nations and people that were around. So what started to happen was that people started coming to Egypt because they heard that Egypt had all of this extra food and provision. And they would come and they would basically acquire a camel load full of provision and take it back to their people. And Yusuf was very just. However many people came, for each person that came, he would give a camel load full of food for them to take back with. So the people are being supplied for left, right and center. Now, his brothers and his family are still alive, living at the same time. And they are not too far away. Okay, Egypt, he's there now, but they are where? Around the area of Sham, that kind of region. They're in that kind of place. So it's not very far, is it? So they are also affected by a lack of provision. So what do? Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions, وَجَاءَ إِخْوَةُ يُوسُفَ. The brothers of Yusuf, they come. The same ones who once threw him inside of a well, now are coming to him for help, for survival. They don't have food. فَدَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ. They entered upon him. They're standing in front of him. They can see him now. فَعَرَفَهُمْ. He recognizes exactly who they are. Yusuf didn't forget. Same older brothers who were supposed to take care of him, love him, protect him, they threw him inside of the well. He didn't forget who they were. وَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. But they had no idea this is Yusuf. They do not have the faintest, slightest idea that this is their baby brother that's standing in front of them. Yusuf didn't tell them either. But Yusuf had a plan. Yusuf had a plan. He said, okay, I'm gonna fix things. I'm gonna bring my brothers back. His plan wasn't to punish them. His plan wasn't to take revenge. His plan was to reconcile, to make the family back together again. And also for them, they would learn a lesson through this. So what did he do? He gave them all the provision that was due to them. He loaded up their camels. How many of them came? Did all of the brothers come? They left one behind. Yusuf's other brother. So Yusuf was the youngest, and the second youngest was Binyamin, who in the Bible they call him Benjamin. He wasn't there. So Yusuf alayhi salam wanted to use this to his advantage. He wanted to bring his brother to him. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned, وَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ. When their provisions were given to them and their camels were loaded, قَالْ ائْتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَبِيكُمْ. He said, bring me a brother of yours. Why? Because I can't give you more food. You want to take back more food, but I can only give you food worth how many people are here. You're saying you have another brother. Okay, bring him to me. And what? أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي أَوْفِي الْكَيْلِ. Do you not see that I give good? Like when you come, I'll take care of you. I'll load your camels up. Like you go back with nice food. وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِرِينَ. And I'm a good host. I take care of my guests. So the brothers are thinking, yeah, we've got another brother back home. Let's go back, bring him, and we can take back more food. And this guy seems to be really nice. He's taking care of us. He's really showing us a lot of love. فَلَمَّا رَجَعُوا إِلَىٰ أَبِيكُمْ When they went back to their father, and they met their father, and remember, the same way the father at the beginning of the story, he used to protect Yusuf and not let him out of his sight. Yusuf has gone, Benjamin, he's now the youngest remaining, right? He protects him. He doesn't let him go out like that. He keeps him with him. He's close to him. Has a lot of love for him. So they said, our father, Ya Abana, Muni'a minna al-kayl. We've been prevented from having any more food. We can't take any more. So what? فَأَرْسِلْ مَعَنَا أَخَانَا Send our brother with us so that we can get more food. وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ We're going to protect him. We're going to safeguard him. This is exactly what they said at the beginning of the story. Do you remember? وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ Allah, oh Father, send Yusuf with us. Don't worry, we'll take care of him. And the father's like, really? You expect me to trust you the way I trusted you with Yusuf? It's like, that's the trust you're talking about? The same way you told me you were going to protect Yusuf, you want me to just give you my other son and you're going to protect him too? So they're trying to convince the father. وَلَمَّا فَتَحُوا مَتَاعَهُمْ Now, what happened was that they had bags, okay? And the whole caravan, the journey, they've been coming from Egypt, they haven't opened their bags up yet. And like when you're on a plane, you put your suitcase and you don't open it until you arrive, right? So, وَلَمَّا فَتَحُوا مَتَاعَهُمْ When they open up their baggage, their bags that they were traveling with, what do they find? وَجَدُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ رُدَّتْ إِلَيْهِمْ They found that their money that they gave to Yusuf had been given back to them. Yusuf put it back in their bags. Because Yusuf he's understanding now. It might be hard for them to bring their other brother back, but he wants to make sure that when they go, they come back to me. So he said, okay, I'm going to put their money right back in their bag. When they open their bag, they're going to think, wow, this guy really is so nice. Like, he's telling us he'll give us more food, and he gave us back all the money for the food that we took in the first place. So they say to the father, they say, Ya Abana, ma nabaghi. What more can we ask for? هذه بضاعتنا. These are provisions, our money. رُدَّتْ إِلَيْنَا. It's been given back to her. It's been given back to us. Send our brother with us. وَنَحْفَظُ أَخَانَا. We're going to protect him and and safeguard him. وَنَزْدَادُ كَيْلَ بَعِيرٍ. And we're going to get what? An increase. We're going to be increased inside of this camel load. And they said, ذَلِكَ كَيْلٌ يَسِيرٌ. That's going to be a very easy quantity, a supply that we're going to take back for us with ourselves. It's going to be very easy. Like, look how nice this is. Like, we've got our money back. We're going to go back, get more, and our money stays with us. Like, who would give up this opportunity? So, what did Yusuf alayhi salam say? Sorry, Yaqub, the father, what did he say? He's agreeing now. He said, okay. قال لن أرسله معكم. He said, but I'm not going to send him with you. I'm not going to send him with you. حتى تؤتوني موثقا من الله. Until you take an oath. Until you make a covenant. Not with me. Min Allah, from Allah. That when you go and you take him, you bring him back. You're going to bring him back to me. إلا أن يحاط بكم. The only exception is if enemies surround you and they kidnap him from you, they take him from you. Take an oath with Allah that you're going to bring him back. They took the oath. They said, Father, we swear by Allah. Allah, we make a promise. Look at this. They're not just saying, Father, we promise you. Saying, Allah, we take an oath with you that we're going to bring our brother right back. فَلَمَّا آتَوْهُ مَوْثِقَهُمْ. When they took the covenant with Allah, قال الله على ما نقول وكيل. Allah, He is a witness over that which we are speaking about. What we just said right here, Allah has witnessed this. As in, make sure you bring him back. Father gives them an advice before he sets them off, as fathers do. They're concerned for their children. And what did he say? يا بني لا تدخلوا من باب واحدة. When you enter inside of the city of Egypt, or the country of Egypt, don't go through one door. Don't go through one door. Why? Because people might get jealous. They see 11 sons. And they're united and they're together. And Allah Mabarak. People might think, wow, they might have some hasad that might enter into their hearts. They could get some evil eye. So say, وَادْخُلُوا مِنْ أَبْوَابٍ مُتَفَرِّقَةٍ. Rather, when you go inside, go through separate doors. Go through different doors. Split up. So that people don't look at you and think, wow, look at these amazing boys. And then jealousy might strike and something could happen. An evil eye could come. Does that make sense? Now when they go back to Yusuf alayhi salam, and they bring the other brother, Yusuf grabs him. And he makes it known to him who he is. He grabs him and he makes it known to him who he is. And together they make a plan. Together they make a plan. The plan is that Yusuf's going to set him up as if he stole something from the king. He's going to set him up. And this is allowed as long as you don't lie and you do it with the permission of the person, and you're doing it because you're making up a plan, you're doing a little setup, you're doing a little plan because someone's rights have been taken away. And you're setting this up because you want to basically bring it back in a nice way so you can do something like this. It's permissible. Does that make sense? But not if you lie, not if you do it without the person knowing. Yusuf took his brother's consent. When he set his brother up like this, he took his brother's consent. Does that make sense? And number 3, there was a maslahah. There's a benefit that's going to come from this. It's not just going to be us setting up things just to cause people pain and to confuse their life and just to play a little joke or a prank on someone. No, there was a reason. He's been separated from his father and he wants to reconcile between his family. And that's why he set up this little scheme, he set up this little plan. Does that make sense? So, he put something inside of his brothers, something that belonged to the king. He put it inside his brother's bag. So now his younger brother, he goes back to the rest of his brothers. These guys, the rest of them don't know his brother just met with Yusuf, and as in he knows it's Yusuf. They are now about to head back home with their extra food, with their extra provision. And as they're about to leave, someone comes out saying, the king's thing has been stolen. It's been stolen, it's been stolen, it's been stolen. So Yusuf comes. And he goes, and they find, when they search their bags, it's in his younger brother's bag. It's in his younger brother's bag. He said, we're going to keep him with us now. Because the punishment for stealing in that time was what? That you would now become a slave for the one who you stole from. So, he says, now I have to keep him here with me. They said, please, please, take one of us instead. Because they're remembering the oath that they made with Allah and their father. Saying, please, send him free and take one of us instead. And what did Yusuf say? He said, we are not going to keep anyone back except the one with whom which we found this. Notice he didn't say we're not going to take anyone except the one who stole this. Because did his brother steal it? Did his brother steal it? Did he steal it? He never stole. So look, he's not lying. He's doing what? He's keeping his kalam mujmal. We call this kalam mujmal. You're keeping your statement ambiguous. Like for example, when the Prophet ﷺ came for the Battle of Badr, and he was trying to find out how many soldiers do the Quraysh have. And in those days, the Twitter, was kind of like the Bedouins in the desert. You know how now when you want to find out something that happened, you just log on to Twitter. You hear something happen, you don't put on CNN now, you just check your Twitter timeline, what's going on, who got stabbed, who got killed, what's happened, new terrorist attack, like it's all there. Does that make sense? So, in those days, how did you find out what was going on? The Bedouins. Because the Bedouins were always travelling up and down the desert. So they always saying, oh, an army's coming from there, a caravan's coming from here, this is coming from there. So they were like the CNN of those days. The Bedouins always had the information. So the Prophet decided to go towards a few Bedouins in an area that was between the Muslims and the Kuffar. And he asked, he said, like how many soldiers does Abu Jahl have? He asked him something along those lines, like what is the size of this army? And the Bedouin man, he said, He said, where are you from? Because the Bedouin wants to know, are you with Muhammad's army? Are you with Abu Jahl's army? Which one? So he can kind of, work his way around. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I'll tell you after you tell me. I'll tell you after you tell me. So the man told, he said, this is what Abu Jahl's army is like, and gave him whatever information. And they said, okay, now tell me where you're from. Now if the Prophet tells him where he's from, what happens? He's going to expose himself. Because the guy's going to go and tell them, and they can ambush the Muslims. Right? They can plan for them or whatever have you. Like if the Prophet doesn't tell him, the Prophet's broken a promise. The Prophet can't do that. Okay, third option. The Prophet could what? He could what? He could lie. But the Prophet's not going to lie. It's a major sin. So the Prophet has only one option, which is what? The Prophet has only one option, which is what? To tell the truth. The Prophet has to tell the truth. So what's he going to say? I'm from Medina? That would be a truth. But there's another truth he said. He said, I came from the water. And then just turned around and walked away. You see, not far was the sea. And the Bedouin man assumed the Prophet meant as in he's come from the seaside. He's come from a tribe and a village over there. As in that's where he's from. Meaning he's not involved in either party. Like the Prophet said, what did he mean? You know what Allah said? We created you from that, from water, meaning seminal fluid. So the Prophet didn't lie. Because he was created from the seminal fluid. He was created from the mat. He was created from the water. The water that comes out the Father, right? So he didn't lie here. He kept his kalam what? Ambiguous. So you're allowed to do that. But like in some brothers, they do it and it just becomes clear-cut lying. One brother asked him, where are you born? He said, in the butcher shop. He tried to say, oh yeah, I didn't like it because I was butcher. The Prophet was like, bro, that's a clear-cut lie. I don't know how you're going to find your way out of that. So it's a bit of a sticky one. You use it when you need to use it. Does that make sense? For protection, for safety, to prevent a greater harm. You can keep your speech a bit ambiguous, but don't fall into lying. Lying is in the hellfire. Does that make sense? So anyway, coming back to the brothers, what did he do? He said to the brothers, he said, we're going to keep your younger brother with us. We're going to keep your younger brother with us. Now the brothers are trying to convince Yusuf alayhi salam, they're trying to convince him so bad, please take one of us instead, send us back. He's got a father, his father is old, this, that and the other. Yusuf's like, no, the law is the law. We're going to keep your brother with us. Allah said, فَلَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا مِنْهُ when they gave up with Yusuf and they realized this man is not listening, خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا they had a private meeting. They thought, let's sit down and talk about this in private. قَالَ كَبِيرُهُمْ and the oldest brother, he started to speak. The oldest brother, he spoke. He said, أَلَمْ تَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ أَبَاكُمْ قَدْ أَخَذَ عَلَيْكُمْ مَوْثِقًا مِّنَ اللَّهِ He said, don't you know that you've taken an oath with Allah? Your father made you take an oath with Allah. وَمِن قَبْلُ مَا فَرَّطْتُمْ فِي يُوسُف and remember when you failed with regards to Yusuf, you already lost your other brother, now you lost another one and you took an oath with Allah. He said, فَلَنْ أَبْرَحَ الْأَرْضَ حَتَّى يَأْذَنَ لِي أَبِي He said, I can't leave this land. I'm going to stay here unless my father gives me permission to come back. أو يحكم الله لي وهو خير الحاكمين or unless Allah Azza wa Jal, He decides my case, He decides for me, He judges for me, and He is the best of judges. So now the brothers, they go back without their oldest brother. And I really want you to understand what's happening here. Is that when they go back to Yaqub the father to tell him the bad news, how many sons has Yaqub lost now? How many sons has he lost? How many? 2 sons? He's lost 3 now. Yusuf is gone. Benjamin is gone. And the oldest son is gone. Do you understand what kind of pain this is for a father? He lost his youngest baby boy, then the next youngest, then the oldest, and they're all gone. So they come back to Yaqub alayhi salam and they inform him. What does Yaqub say? فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. He will say, so beautiful patience is most befitting for me. Look at this. When we hear bad news, we start screaming, we start crying. Crying is not bad. Crying is not bad. But screaming and shouting and wailing and swearing and cursing and cussing, straight away says فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. But does he lose hope? He says عَسَى اللَّهَ أَنْ يَأْتِيَنِي بِهِمْ جَمِيعًا. Look how positive he is. He says perhaps Allah will bring them all back to me. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْحَكِيمُ. Allah is the one who's all-knowing and most wise. If my sons have gone and they've disappeared and they've been taken away from me, there is a wisdom here behind this. And not just that, Allah is all-knowing, so He knows the wisdom. Because He's all-knowing of that which can be and should have been, and if it was to be, how it would have been. He knows what could have happened if my sons were here and what benefit there is in them not being here. And He said, based upon this, His wisdom is taking place. Brothers, this is the way to behave when calamity strikes. Some people, when they go through pain and when they go through suffering, they give up their deen very quickly. They give up their deen very quickly. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in Surah Al-Baqarah that do you think that أن تدخلوا الجنة ولم يأتكم, do you think that you will enter inside of Jannah and it will not come to you that which came to the people before you, the way they were tested, the way they were tortured, the way they had to remain patient? You think it won't come to you? Allah said they were touched by what? Pain. They were touched by what? So much agony. The earth beneath them was like it was shaking until they and even the messenger that was with them said, مَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ? Where is the help of Allah? When is the help of Allah going to come? Look at this, even the messenger, they were going through so much pain that even the messenger that was with them, what did he say? He said, where is the help of Allah going to come? Even the messenger, it touched him, the pain touched him, the difficulty touched him. And what did he say? What did Allah say? That Allah's victory is very close. It's around the corner. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said something powerful. He said, whenever you know that the pain is peaking, the pain is climaxing, the suffering is at its highest, know that the ease is just around the corner. Why? Because everything that goes up must come down. When the pain goes up, eventually that pain is going to start to stop. It's going to go away. The thing is, we despair. And whenever Allah tests us, we start screaming, crying, and people fall to haram. They fall to drugs, they fall to alcohol, they fall to women, women fall to men. And Allah says it's very bad. One time, Khabbab ibn Arat radiallahu anhu came to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet was kneeling against the Kaaba. And Khabbab is a man who received a lot of torture. They burnt his back, they took charcoal and they burnt it on the earth and they lit it afire and they placed Khabbab over it until Khabbab's skin started to melt, and what put the embers of the fire out was his skin. When it melted, it put the fire out itself. So his back is burnt, he's gone through that much agony and pain. He comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he says, Ya Rasulullah, why don't you make dua to Allah to give us victory? He's saying, Allah, this is too much. Ya Rasulullah, this is too much, sorry. Can you not make dua to Allah to stop this pain and suffering that we're going through? You're a prophet of Allah. If you make dua, Allah will not reject it. And the Prophet said to him, before you there were a people, a grave would be ditched for them, a grave would be dug for them, a ditch would be dug for them, a grave would be dug for them. They'll be placed inside of it. A big blade will be placed on top of their head and they'll be sliced in half. And another group of people will be taken, laid down, and a man will take an iron comb and he will start to comb his flesh and separate his flesh from his bones. And that did not make these people shake in their religion. They didn't shake in their religion. And the Prophet said, but you people, Allah wants to give you such victory that a man can walk, a shepherd can walk with his sheep from Hadramaut to Sana'a and have nothing to fear except Allah and a wolf that may eat his sheep. But you people are a qawm تستعجلون, that are hasty, not patient. Wallahi, this is a lesson to take. If that's how the Prophet ﷺ was speaking to the Sahaba, wallahi, they were people who had sabr and they went through worse than us. Why is it that when a little bit of a calamity comes our way, we start shaking, we start quaking, we start what? Panicking. And we abandon our deen very quickly. We abandon our deen very, very quickly. So brothers, no matter what pain and whatever difficulty you're going through, be patient. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Allah said, with every pain, with every difficulty, there is ease. Allah didn't say with every difficulty there will come ease. Allah said ma, which means with it, connected to it. When Allah gives you pain, when Allah gives you a difficulty, with that difficulty there is ease. And then in case you didn't believe, or you needed to be convinced, and it wasn't enough for Allah to say it once, He said it again, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With the difficulty there is ease. If Allah said it once, we would have believed Him. Like He said it twice, to give you that sense of conviction that the difficulty will go. In fact, with it is ease. And not just that, some of the ulama, they said, because Allah mentioned it twice, it shows for every one difficulty, there is two ease. For every one door Allah closed on you, He opened two at the same time. Like you don't see it, and I don't see it, and we don't see it. Why do we not see the door that opened? It's because we are too busy looking at the door that just got closed. You don't get this one job, and you're just crying, why did I not get that one job? You don't get to marry that one girl. You think that one door closed, back in you don't realize, just as this door closed, at the same time, Allah opened another two doors for you. But you're so ungrateful. I am so ungrateful. We are so ungrateful that we look at what we don't have and then we become blinded by that which we do. So brothers, be patient and have good assumption of Allah. Yaqub said, عَسَى اللَّهَ أَن يَأْتِيَنِي بِهِمْ جَمِيعًا. Perhaps Allah will bring them all back to me. He'll bring my sons back. He knows this is going to turn around. Think about it. By the way, brothers, he's lost Yusuf for over 30 years have gone by. Over 30 years have passed that Yusuf's been gone. Like he still believes my son's going to come back. He believes with certainty this pain will go and Allah will not let me down. So what happens? Even though he's positive, but he's still feeling pain, right? He's still feeling pain, right? It's not wrong to cry. The eyes may shed tears and the heart might feel pain, like the tongue says only that which is obedient to Allah. But تَوَلَّ عَنْهُ, he turned away from them. He turns away from his sons. وَقَالْ, and then he says, يَا أَسَفَ عَلَى يُوسُف. He says, how much pain, look at the pain, I'm feeling such pain because of Yusuf. I miss him so much. And he cried and he cried. وَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. He cried so much that he went blind from the pain, from the grief that he was feeling. He looks towards his sons. So rather his sons, they look at him and they say, تَاللَّهِ تَفْتَأُ تَذْكُرُ يُوسُف. They said, Dad, you will not stop mentioning Yusuf. Why do you keep mentioning Yusuf? It's going to kill you. حتى تكون حرضا أو تكون من الهالكين. You're going to become weak with old age. You keep talking Yusuf this and Yusuf that. Or you're going to become from those who are dead. You're going to kill yourself, Dad. Let it go. Yusuf's gone. How many people will say this? The father, what did he say? إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله. He said, verily, I complain of my pain only to Allah. I'm not going to talk to you about it. I don't need to talk to you about my pain. I don't need you to listen to me. When we get into a difficulty, we always want to talk to people. Why do you want to talk to people? Why don't you talk to Allah? They say a problem is shared, there's a problem halved. I agree. But I can share it with Allah. Share that problem with Allah. In fact, when you share a problem with Allah, it's not just halved, it's removed. It's removed. Like you don't talk to Allah. You don't ask Allah. Ask Him, what are you going through? Difficulty in your deen? Your iman's going up and down? Talk to Allah. Problems at home? Talk to Allah. Depression? Talk to Allah. He said, إِنَّمَا أَشْكُ بَثِي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ وَأَعْلَمُ مِنَ اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And he says, I know from Allah that which you don't know. I have knowledge of Allah that you don't have. I know things from Allah that you don't know. He's so convinced, my son's going to come back to me. And then he tells his sons, Ya bunay. He says, Ya baniya, idhabu, fatahassasu mi Yusuf. He says, my sons, go out there and inquire, search for Yusuf. Don't give up. Wa akhihi, and his brother. وَلَا تَيْأَسُوا مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ. And do not give up hope. Don't give up hope in Allah. إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسُ مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. No one gives up hope from Allah. No one despairs in Allah except for a people who are disbelieving. Don't disbelieve. Brothers, have certainty. Allah will bring you back what you lost. Allah will take your pain away. Allah will give you strength. Allah will give you victory. Allah will correct your affairs. What do you need? What else do you need for Allah to tell you? To give you the conviction that He will take care of you. This, when you believe this, you don't do haram. You don't make haram money because you believe, even though I'm broke today, and I'm starving today, and I'm homeless today, I don't need to sell drugs. I don't need to take a loan. I don't need to do haram. Allah is going to take care of me. You don't need to go and have a girlfriend and talk to him in haram and go get a boyfriend for the girl. You don't need. You think, oh, when am I going to get married? Allah will find you someone. Allah will take the pain. Or you're sick. Don't worry. Allah will take the sickness away. This is a man who's blind. He's lost 3 sons. 30 plus years, his most beloved son is gone. Like even for a second, he's not given up in Allah's hope. He knows Allah's going to bring him back. Anyway, the brothers, they listen to their father. The father says, go and search for Yusuf. So they go searching. They come back into Egypt. And once again, they come to Yusuf. They come back to Yusuf. This time Yusuf is going to let them know who he is. Yusuf says to them, هَلْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا فَعَلْتُمْ بِيُوسُفَ وَأَخِيهِ إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ. He says, do you know what you did to Yusuf and his brother when you were ignorant? When you didn't know, when you were jahil? Straight away, what do the brothers say? أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ Yusuf? They cry, this is Yusuf. This is our brother. قال أنا يوسف. He says, yeah, I am Yusuf. وهذا أخي. And this is my brother. قد من الله علينا. Allah has favored us. إنه من يتقي ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. This is for the one who's patient and the one who fears Allah, who has taqwa, who has piety, as I mentioned to you in the last lesson. The one who comes with sabr and the one who comes with fear of Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will give him leadership. Allah will honor him. Allah will raise him. And he said that Allah, He does not let the reward of the good doers go to waste. Brothers, pay attention. The good that you do, it won't go to waste. هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان? Is there any way for Allah to reward you with good other than good? It's very bad nowadays. People, they say, look at how good I've been obedient to Allah, I stopped doing haram, my life's not getting better. And then they think, what's the point of me doing all this good? And I might as well go back to my old life. Sometimes they don't say it, but they feel it and then they go back. Lakin, you are now accusing Allah of being unjust. That you done good and Allah rewarded you with bad. That is wrong. Allah, He will give you good. If you came with ihsan, Allah will not let that go to waste. And Allah will let you see it. Lakin, you need to be a person who is ready to be patient. Allah's going to see, are you patient? Who is this? إِنَّهُ مَن يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرُ. The one who has taqwa, the one who has sabr. That's the one who's going to receive the reward at the end of the day. A benefit I just want to take from here. Yusuf, when he saw them, he said, هَلْ عَلِمْتُم مَا فَعَلْتُم بِيُوسُفَ وَأَخِيهِ إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ. Do you know what you did to Yusuf and his brother when you were jahil? When you were jahil? Were they jahil? Were they jahil? You have to understand the benefit here. Anyone who does a sin, at the time he's doing the sin, he's considered jahil in the Sharia. The evidence for this, Allah said in Surah An-Nisa, I think, إِنَّمَا تَوْبَةُ عَلَى اللَّهِ لِلَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ السُّوءَ بِجَهَالَةٍ. Allah accepts the repentance of those who do evil when they were in a state of ignorance. As in, when they done the evil, Allah said they were ignorant at the time that they did it. At the time that they did the evil, Allah referred to them as jahil. They was due to ignorance, It was due to ignorance. So know that if you're sinning, brothers, sinning is because of jahil inside of you, it's ignorance. And the cure to this sinning is ilm, is knowledge. So you need to come to these classes, brothers. Whatever sin it is that you're doing, the cure for these sins is ilm. Because you are sinning because of jahl, because of ignorance. Does that make sense? So cure your sickness through the circles of knowledge. Come to the masjid, learn, study, hear. When you hear, your iman increases. You want to go back and do more. Why? Because the knowledge is what's it doing? It's nourishing your heart. Does that make sense? It's nourishing your heart. So now that Yusuf alayhi salam has told them who he is, and he's made it clear to them who he is, what would you do in this situation? Your brother who you tried to kill, and then you decided to not kill him but threw him inside of a well, separated him from his family for 30 plus years, has now told you, he's standing in front of you, and you are now weak. When he was thrown into the well, he was weak, and you were strong. But now he is right-hand man of the king. He's a minister in the country. He can call the army in a second, put them all into prison, finish them, destroy them. Would you not be scared in this situation? What do you think Yusuf says to them? قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. He said, there is no blame on you today. I want to look at how powerful this is. He didn't say, I forgive you today. Forgive you means you done something wrong, and I forgive you for it. There's no blame upon you today. You didn't even do anything wrong, bro. You know, someone says sorry. You say, bro, what are you saying sorry for? You didn't do anything. لا تثريب عليكم اليوم. My brothers, there's no blame on you today. Don't worry. That is all in the past. We can move on from this. يغفر الله لكم. May Allah forgive you. May Allah forgive you. As for me, no blame. But he makes dua for Allah to forgive them. وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And he is the one who is the most merciful of those who show mercy. Brothers, pay attention. This is similar to the Prophet ﷺ when he entered inside of Mecca. When the Prophet ﷺ entered Mecca, 10,000 men strong, he entered and conquered the city, the same city that they dragged him out of, the same city in which they used to try to step on his head and choke him and beat him, and they killed some of his companions. In the day when he came back with 10,000 strong army and he took over the city, what did the Prophet do? He came in on his camel, humble. He forgave everyone. He said, anyone who becomes Muslim, stays in their house, or anyone who stays in their house or finds refuge in the house of Abu Sufyan, no one's going to touch you. And apart from a few little skirmishes outside the city where some of the Quraysh, they fought with the Muslims outside, no battle took place. And the Prophet forgave them. When they saw that mercy from him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they realized this is not normal. Like, العين بالعين والأذن بالأذن والأنف بالأنف. He's not coming with eye for an eye and, nose for a nose, ear for an ear. He's not doing this. This is no. He just forgave us. We tortured him. We tried to kill him. We killed some of his companions. He comes in with an army and he just forgives us. People accepted Islam that day. And wallahi, brothers, this is a characteristic that all of us should have. Some of us, we say, I forgive everyone, but just one person who done one thing to me, I can't forgive that person. I can't forgive him. Could be a family member, could be a friend, someone. You say, I just can't forgive him. I can't bring myself to forgive him. But everyone else I forgive. But what this person done for me, you don't know. You don't know what he done for me. Okay, let's flip the script. Let's imagine it's the day of judgment. And you're standing there. And Allah calls you out. Allah says, this is your time, come. And you're brought forth. An angel driving you forward, excited. Or shaheed, one who's a witness standing right next to you. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, let's just imagine Allah looks at you and He says, as for your book and all the sins that are inside of there, Allah says, I will forgive you for all of the sins inside my book. Except this one right here. Except this one sin. Let's talk about the sin. Do you want that? In that moment, you're going to wish Allah, please, even that one sin, just forget about it. Like, if you want Allah to forgive you, how dare you not forgive others? Someone upset you, someone transgressed on you, you violated Allah's rights. You violated Allah Azza wa Jal's rights. So how dare you? How dare you? So the point I'm making is, how on earth can you expect Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive you and you have not what? You have not forgiven the people. Does that make sense? So now that Yusuf's forgiven his brothers and he's reconciled with them, what does Yusuf say? He wants now to sort things out with his dad. He says, اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي يأتي بصيرا. He said, go and take this shirt of mine and go and place it on my father's face. His eyesight was going to return back to him. His eyesight will return back to him. وَأْتُونِي بِأَهْلِكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. And bring me your entire family. Bring them all to me. Bring everyone to me. ولما فصلت العير قال أبوهم إني لا أجد ريح يوسف. When the caravan came, Yaqub alayhi salam, he said, إني لا أجد ريح يوسف. He said, I can smell Yusuf. I have found the fragrance of my son. I can smell it. لولا أن تفندون. Unless you people look at me and you think I'm going mad. I'm going mad because of old age. But he said, I actually think I can smell Yusuf. The people, they look at him, they said, تَاللَّهِ إِنَّكَ لَفِي ضَلَالِكَ الْقَدِيمِ. They say, you're going old. You're just always thinking about Yusuf so much that now you're starting to smell him. Yusuf's gone. We told you he's gone. He's not coming back. فلما أن جاء البشير وألقاه على وجهه فارتدوا بصيرا. When the guy came in from the caravan, he took the shirt and he placed it on top of Yaqub's face, as Yusuf told them to do. فارتدوا بصيرا. فارتد بصيرا. His eyesight came back to him and he could see. قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. He said, did I not tell you that I know from Allah that which you don't know? My son is alive. Not only that, his shirt's come back to me. And not only that, Allah gave me my eyesight back. Pay attention. How did the story start? How did the story start? How did the pain of Yaqub, how did it start? That part of the story, how did it start? A shirt was brought to him, and it had blood on it. And they told him, this is Yusuf's shirt. How did the story end? A shirt was brought to him. The shirt of his son. And it makes him happy. The same thing with which Allah started the story that it caused him pain, that same thing comes back, and now is a source of his joy. That's a beautiful element of the story that I think is important to point out. Sometimes Allah will take something back from you, away from you, but He'll give it back. Like with Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah told him, slaughter your son. In the moment that Ibrahim was bringing the knife down to slaughter his son was gone. Like when Allah saved his son and he slaughtered a ram instead, Allah gave him his son back. Sometimes Allah takes things away from you to test you, to raise your status, or maybe you love that thing too much, so it's to make sure you're not too attached to it, so Allah takes it away. And when you attach your heart to Allah properly, and Allah has raised you in status, Allah will give it back to you. Allah will return back to you that which He took away from you. And also from this we learn that Allah Azza wa Jal has placed shifa in certain things. This is something that was specific to the Prophet Yusuf, where his shirt, he was able to put it on his father's face and his eyes would come back. It's not for anyone else to do. If you go to a talk and the Shaykh says, hey, take off my shirt and rub it on your face, A'udhu Billah, I'm never coming back to that Shaykh ever again. So this is not something that people do now. These are from the khasa'is, the specific things that Allah had given to the Prophets. Lakin, Allah Azza wa Jal has placed shifa in things which the Prophet told us. For example, black seed oil, in it is a cure, the black seed, for everything except for death. The olive oil, inside what? Inside the Quran, Ruqya, Shara'iyya, recite, and you'll find it is a cure for, that which is inside of the chests. The brothers, they come to the father now and they say, Ya Abana, istaghfir lana dhunubana, inna kunna khati'in. Oh our Father, forgive us for our mistake and our sins. Not one sin, many sins. But how many sins did they do at the beginning? It was one. They just threw Yusuf away, right? But now they're not asking Allah, they're not asking the Father, istaghfir lana li dhanbina. They're not saying forgive us for our sin. Dhunubana. Forgive us for our sins, because they've done many. That shows you one sin leads to another sin, leads to another sin, and there's multiple of sins now. So brother, stop yourself with the one sin. Some of you find yourself, I tell brothers so many times, don't do even the one sin. Don't think it's small. You do that one sin and it becomes a domino effect, because one sin brings another sin, brings another sin, brings another sin, and before you know it, you're in bed with a girl. You were just on Deen a few weeks ago. What happened? You were just on Deen, comments, like, what happened to you? Why did you slip up so hard? You do one little sin, it brings another sin, and it multiplies. And before you know it, the door of filth opens for you and you fall down the rabbit hole. Anyway, they all come to Egypt now. فَلَمَّا دَخَلُوا عَلَى يُوسُفَ آوَى إِلَيْهِ أَبَوَيْهِ. Yusuf, he brings his mum and dad close. Right, he's emotional, man. He's reunited with his father and his mother after 3 decades plus. Brothers, Allah, He brings back that which He took away from you. This is all a reminder that the rainy days will pass and the clouds will fly away and Allah will send down the sunshine. Wallahi, brothers, Allah, He doesn't let His slaves down. We let Allah down. Allah doesn't fail on His promise. We fail on the promise. Just please get this. If I can make you understand, don't think just because you came on Deen, you will not go through tests. أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. Do the people think Allah said just because they said we believe? Ya Allah, I'm on Deen now. I'll start praying now. I'm fixing up now. لَا يُفْتَنُونَ, that they are not going to be tested. Allah said they will be tested. They will be tested, those who came before. Why? So we can differentiate between the one who's real and the one who's lying. Everyone can say, yeah, I'm on Deen when life is easy and everyone's supporting you. But like when sister wants to wear the niqab, When she wants to wear the hijab, everyone's like, yeah, wear hijab. When she wants to say, I want to wear the niqab, and mum and dad start saying, what is this? You're an extremist, da-da, da-da, da-da. If she takes it off now, and if she believes it's obligatory, and she takes it off now, what happens, sister? You failed the test. Hijab, everyone wants you to wear hijab, right? So that was easy. Lakin now, the niqab, if you believe it's wajib, if you don't believe it's wajib, I'm not going to, but if you believe it's wajib, and you take it off now, what happened? When it's the fashion to go to bed, everyone goes to bed. And when it's not fashion, you come back home, mum says, what have you done? You're looking like a terrorist. By the way, this is our parents and people shouldn't say these things. You look like a terrorist because you go to bed. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Was the Prophet a terrorist? No, not at all. So this is mocking. Mocking is kufr. It's tantamount to kufr. Does that make sense? Like now, mum puts pressure on you, you shave the beard. Hey, well, real then, where are you, bro? You were what? Seeking knowledge. When money wasn't an issue, but now money became an issue, you gave up coming to the masjid. I got to work. Maybe you reduce the amount you come to the masjid because you got to go work, but like to give it up in totality? What is this? You failed the test. You're not truthful when you said, I believe, Ya Allah. You weren't real. You were fake. So Allah proved it to you through the test. And if you pass the test, brothers, Allah will bring back all of that ease and multiply it for you, and you will see your station before Allah Azza wa Jalla has been raised. Just be patient. Wa alaikum assalam. Okay, LL10, LY0. LL10, Barakallah feek. ورفع أبويه على العرش فخروا له سجدا. He brought his parents, and what did he do? He seated them. He seated them on the throne. He seated his parents on the throne. Look, he's honoring his parents. He's honoring them. فَخَرُّوا لَهُ سُجَّدًا. And they all fell into sajda to him. وقال يا أبتي هذا تأويل رؤياي من قبل قد جعلها ربي حقا. He said, Dad, this is the dream that I had when I saw the 10 stars making sajda to me in the sun and the moon. قد جعلها ربي حقا. My Lord Allah, He made it come true. And by the way, sajda now is only for Allah. Our sharia, the Prophet ﷺ, in this sharia made it haram for anyone to do sajda to other than Allah. If you do it, you can leave the fold of Islam the moment you do it. Because now it became, before it was not ibadah, before it was respect. And it could be ibadah. Now it's only ibadah. The Prophet said, if I was to command you to make sajda to anyone other than Allah, it would be the husband, the wife to do it to the husband. Like, and even that is haram. It's not allowed. Does that make sense? And then he says, وَقَدْ أَحْسَنَ بِي إِذْ أَخْرَجَنِي مِنَ السِّجْنِ وَجَاءَ بِكُم مِّنَ الْبَدْوِ مِن بَعْدِ أَن نَزَغَ الشَّيْطَانُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ إِخْوَتِي. And he said, and Allah has been so good to me when He took me out of the prison. Look, He's not saying, Allah put me in a prison, Allah made me suffer in the prison. People blame Allah. I'm like, no. He's saying, me going into the prison, like Ibrahim alayhi salam. He said, what? What did he say in Surah Shu'ara? He said, I become sick. فَيَشْفِينِ. Allah, He cures me. Allah cures me. I become sick. Allah, you don't make me sick. You cure me. Everything else, you say, Allah, you created me, you guide me. But He says, when it comes to sickness, I become sick. You don't relate something bad to Allah. The bad is you. مَا أَصَابَكَ مِنْ سَيِّئَةٍ فَمِنْ نَفْسِكَ. Any bad that came to you in your life was because of you. وَمَا أَصَابَكَ مِنْ حَسَنَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. But like any good that comes to you in your life is from Allah. So he's not saying Allah put me in prison. He just said, no, Allah was good to me. He took me out of prison. And He brought you, my family, across the desert. He reunited me. And what? Look at this. من بعد أن نزغ الشيطان بيني وبين إخوتي. After shaitan made me and my brothers fight. Brothers, look how powerful the story and the surah is. The beginning is being tied back with the end. The t-shirt at the beginning, t-shirt at the end. The dream at the beginning, coming true at the end. At the beginning, what was the advice that Yaqub gave to his son? He said, يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك. Do not tell this dream to your brothers. فَيَكِيدُوا لَكَ كَيْدًا. They may plot against you, not because they are evil. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Because shaitan is an enemy to you. Shaitan is a clear-cut enemy. Your brothers may plot, and if they harm you, He's trying to say, it's not your brothers. It's not your brothers that hate you. It's not your brothers that are evil to you. Rather, what is it? It is shaitan who's trying to destroy the relationship that you have with your brothers. And just like that, right now at the end, Yusuf is remembering. And he says, and نَزَغَ الشَّيْطَانُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَ إِخْوَتِي. Shaitan is the one that made me and my brothers dispute and separate. And then he said, إِنَّ رَبِّي لَطِيفٌ لِمَا يَشَاءُ. He says, my Lord is what? Indeed, He is all aware. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْحَكِيمُ. He is all aware and all wise. Allah is latif, He's attentive, He's subtle. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْحَكِيمُ. Allah knew what He was doing. The whole time that I was separated, Allah was in charge. Allah orchestrated. Oh, there was khair, there was wisdom. Allah knew what He was doing. And then after that, and this is what we end on, after he speaks to his father, Yusuf, he turns to Allah. And he makes a dua to Allah. He says, Rabbi, my Lord, وَقَدْ آتَيْتَنِي مِنَ الْمُلْكِ. You gave me kingdom. You gave me a share in the kingdom. وَعَلَّمْتَنِي مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. And you gave me knowledge. You gave me knowledge, Ya Allah. Look, he's diverting all his blessings back to Allah. Allah, you gave me kingdom. Why? Because you are the king. And you gave a portion of it to me to supervise over here. وَعَلَّمْتَنِي. You gave me knowledge. مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. Interpretation of the ahadith. Of the dreams. فَاطِرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. You are the one who originated the heavens and the earth. أَنْتَ وَلِيِّي فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. Allah, you are my guardian in this life and the next. After he prays Allah, what is the dua that he's making? This is all him praising Allah. This is all him praising Allah. What's the dua? توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. Allah, make me die as a Muslim. Make me die as a Muslim and you unite me with those who are righteous. So I remind you at this point, and myself and yourself, to remember death, brothers. Because when everything became good at the end, you've got kingdom now, you've got knowledge now, you're a big man, like you've got authority in the country now, your family's come back to you, you've squashed the beef with your brothers, your mum, dad are here. This is good times now, right? So you can easily, good times is when people forget about Allah, right? They remember Allah in times of hardship, like in times of good, people don't remember Allah. And the Prophet said, remember death a lot. Because death is the destroyer of pleasures. So Yusuf alayhi salam, straight away he remembers, my journey is not finished. My story between me, my brothers, my mum, my dad is ended here. As in, this is where the story ends. Like, and I have not died yet. My story with Allah carries on. So make me die Musliman. Make me die as a Muslim. And this is why you hear every day, brothers, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته. Fear Allah the way He deserves to be feared. ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. And don't you dare die except that you die as a Muslim. Meaning Muslim submission, submitting to Allah with tawheed and obedience. Allah, what do you want me to do? I'll do it. Just don't give up that. Don't fall off that path. Brothers, remember the path to Allah, as long as Shafi'i rahimahullah said, like Allah doesn't need you to get off that, to get to the end of the path. He just needs you to die on it. Just die on that path. Die as a Muslim. Don't fall off that. وَأَلْحِقْنِي بِالصَّالِحِينَ. And let me be united with the righteous. And I know I said that was the end. The last thing I'll mention, Allah mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah that Yaqub alayhi salam, when he was on his deathbed, and all of his sons who are next to him now, all of the sons, everyone's come back, and he's about to die now, to show you again how they were consistent in life to the end. He said, my sons, مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن بَعْدِي. Look how his concern is what? It's tawheed. What are you going to worship? My sons, who are you going to worship after me? نَعْبُدُ إِلَهَكَ وَإِلَهَ آبَائِكَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدًا وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. We're going to worship the one, Allah. No one else other than Him. The one who is your Ilah, your God, your deity that you worship. And the one of your fathers, Ibrahim and Ismail and Ishaq. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. And we're going to remain Muslims. And Yaqub alayhi salam died, a righteous man, an amazing father. Despite all of that, cultivated his children upon Tawheed. And when he left them, he didn't forget to remind them of that which is the most important thing. Because in this story we learn a lot about family ties and how to be with family and not to do sins and good manners and to forgive people and to overcome people, excuse people's mistakes. Like, and what's the most important thing? Greater than all of that? It's not to violate the rights of Allah. So brothers, remember death, remember it a lot. Allah will inshallah join you with the Salihin, the righteous ones. And don't die except in a state of submission, worshipping Allah. And for those of us who are parents or who are going to be parents, when you're on your deathbeds, remember this moment right here. Remember this lesson that you learnt from Yaqub. Don't be busy telling your children this, that, blah, blah, blah. Things are important. Talk to them about inheritance and whatnot. Who as a father now, he's dying, he looks at his sons and he says, don't you dare die except in a state of Islam, worshipping Allah alone. You know why? Because you will have to answer for your responsibilities, how you raise your children on the Day of Judgment. And not only that, now that you're dead and you're departing, all of your actions have come to an end. There are 3 things that could carry on benefiting you. One of them is waladun salih, a righteous child that would make dua for you. Like, and how can your son's dua be accepted if he's a mushrik, doing shirk, he's making dua to other than Allah? He's not a Muslim, or he's Muslim by name, he's not submitting to Allah. So remind him, worship none but Allah. So when you make dua when you make dua for me, make dua to Allah, so you can benefit from it. And stay a Muslim, so that when you're asked for your responsibility on the Day of Judgment, you can say, Allah, I did my part. I raised my son upon Islam. And some of us have to be very, very concerned here, because some of us are trying to raise our children upon Islam in an impossible environment. Raising your kids in the UK, sending them to public school, and then wondering why they come back home with drugs or with a girlfriend or addicted to pornography and all these other things. Why? And then getting angry at the child when he comes home is like taking your child, throwing him in water and saying, don't get wet. Or taking your child, covering him with feces and then saying, why do you smell? And literally, by you taking your children and putting them in these schools and raising them here in this environment, what are you doing? You're sending them towards its filth. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Inshallah, next week, inshallah, we'll start Imam Qurtubi's Kitab Al-Tazkirah, which is a big book all about death. It's going to start from the soul, the death, the grave, the Day of Judgment, Al-Jannah, Al-Jahannam. It takes about 4 or 5 years to finish. Inshallah, hopefully we'll do it together. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question for you. From all of my videos online that you might have seen, which one has been the most life-changing one for you so far? Many people told me that it was the video when we gave da'wah outside the Shisha Cafe.
And I'll leave you with this. The Prophet ﷺ said, a time will come when holding on to my religion, holding on to Islam, will become as difficult as holding on to charcoal. The charcoals that we smoke shisha with. The Prophet said, try and hold on to it. It burns you, let go of it. The Prophet ﷺ said, that's what my religion will become like. Is it not like that today?
Or perhaps you're from those who said it was that lecture that everyone was asking about, the one I did on the issue of death.
Send me back. Please send me back. I'll pray this time. I'll dump that girl this time. I won't play around with the girls no more. No more cigarettes, no more weed, no more watching things online, no more talking to the guys, no more music, no more disrespecting my parents. I will pray. Allah, please send me back. Tell these angels, hold me down for a second. Send me back, just 2 minutes, send me back. Oh, let me die with my head on the ground in sajda. Let me die, but Allah said, no. Not be able to return. They will scream, Rabbi rji'ooni. Send me back, my master, please.
Or maybe it was one of the other 1,000 plus videos that we have online. Whatever it was, I want to ask you a follow-up question, and that is, I want you to remember and record what life was like before you saw that video, when you were distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, when you're thinking of that and remembering that, I want you to be aware that there are many brothers and sisters who are still living life like that, far and distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They still haven't seen that one video that's going to help change their life. They haven't seen that one reminder that's going to touch them and bring them out from the darkness of sins to the brightness and the light and the happiness of guidance. But that doesn't mean that there isn't hope for them. They just need to come in contact with that kind of content online. And that's why myself and my team are dedicating the next 3 months, inshallah ta'ala, to flooding the internet with as much content on Tawheed and Sunnah and reminders about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as possible. But the issue is that in order for us to reach those targets, we're limited in terms of the resources that we have. We need to hire more people in our media team. We need to also buy new equipment. Now look, I am going to ask you to support this financially, but I'm not going to ask you for crazy numbers. For us, we don't need that kind of money. We need little money because we have a team that really believes in this. And the proof is in the pudding. If you see what we've done over the last summer, subhanAllah, you can see that the work that gets done, that money goes where it deserves to be placed. So I'm going to ask you, inshallah ta'ala, because you're a person who's benefited from this YouTube channel, you're a person who's benefited from my video, I want you to be able to give the gift of that video that helped change your life to someone else by donating at the link below. And remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, none of you will truly believe until you love for your brother, by extension your sister, what you love for yourself. And what you love here for them is what guidance, the way you love it for yourself. So please, inshallah ta'ala, give it the link below and let's flood the internet with La ilaha illallah.